Antigua and Barbuda, Canada, Egypt, Indonesia, Jamaica, Korea, Malaysia, Mexico, New Zealand, Nigeria, Paraguay, the Philippines, Vietnam, and Zimbabwe. Many additional countries are represented in the heritages of the students, including Brazil, China, El Salvador, Ghana, Haiti, India, Lebanon, Nepal, Nicaragua, Peru, Romania, Russia, Rwanda, South Africa, Taiwan, Thailand, and Zambia. So we truly have an international group here. 13 of the students have parents who are alumni of the School of Medicine here. The students have degrees from 53 different colleges and universities. Most of the students have a science or health major, but 13% have a major in other areas, including communications, engineering, economics, English, political science, international relations, religious studies, music, history, humanities, art, information systems, foreign language, and mathematics. They have received almost every type of honor imaginable. Dean's List, President's List, Top Achievement Award, Science Academic Excellence Awards, Student of the Year, Outstanding Graduating Senior, and many other awards. They are members of Phi Beta Kappa Honor Society, Tri Beta Honor Society, Alpha Kappa Mu Honor Society, and numerous other honor societies. They've received academic, sports, service, and music awards. So they're a well-rounded group. They've had health care experiences, shadowing physicians in just about every specialty, from anesthesia to interventional radiology. They've worked as well as health educators, personal care aides, phlebotomists, nursing home volunteers, hospice volunteers, scribes, pharmacy technicians, and optometry assistants. They've worked as nurses and emergency medical technicians and as healthcare volunteers. The students have also done research in many areas: stem cell, oncology, endocrinology, genetics, immunology, hematology, infectious disease, rheumatology, cardiology, urology, mental health, and neuroscience. They've had publications and presentations at local and national meetings. They're also very musically talented. There are many vocalists, many also play the piano. We have people that play the violin, viola, cello, bass, guitar, piccolo, flute, saxophone, clarinet, trombone, tuba, and trumpet. We also have students who play the organ, mandolin, ukulele, percussion, and handbells. We also have songwriters. So if medical school doesn't work out, they can start some kind of musical organization. The athletic ability of this class also is very impressive. We have marathoners, swimmers, basketball and hockey players, flag football players, gymnasts, volleyball players, rock climbers, soccer players, skiers, snowboarders, tennis players, softball and baseball, rugby players, people who do cross-country, whitewater rafting, kickball, yoga, ping pong, kayaking, sailing, hiking, surfing, weightlifting, scuba diving, ultimate frisbee, martial arts, cycling, step aerobics, and golf, and hopefully they will have time to study. They've had very interesting experiences. They've done glass repair, oil painting, written prose and poetry, volunteered in a leper colony, done mountain climbing, been radio host, chocolatier, managed a restaurant, been an investigative intern for the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, grand marshal for a parade, caterer, involved in equestrian events, learned Israeli military street fighting adapted for civilians, gotten pilot license, been wilderness first responders, been a student ambassador at the state capitol, served in the military, done vertical paving, worked as an illustrator for a medical writer, founded a longboarding club, done research on rattlesnake aggression, and learned knife throwing. So parents, you can breathe a sigh of relief. It will be safer in medical school than what they've already been doing. They have demonstrated leadership ability by serving as officers of many clubs on their college campuses. At least 3 were presidents of the senior class. They've been student senators, community service organizers, founders and leaders and resident assistants. They held church offices, preached sermons, and coached sports teams. And as impressive as all of these things are, the thing that stands out most about these students is that they've demonstrated in many ways that they have hearts for service. They've been involved in church and civic organizations, fed the homeless, worked in orphanage, tutored students, been involved in fundraising. They volunteered for Habitat for Humanity, Boys and Girls Club of America, Amnesty International, the International Red Cross, Special Olympics, Ronald McDonald House, and the Salvation Army. They've served internationally on short-term mission trips, as well as be student missionaries. They've served in Mexico, Belize, Costa Rica, Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador, Nicaragua, Panama, the Dominican Republic, Haiti, Jamaica, Chile, Ecuador, Guyana, Peru, Suriname, Algeria, Cameroon, Ethiopia, Kenya, Malawi, Rwanda, South Africa, Zimbabwe, Lebanon, India, Nepal, China, Myanmar, Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, Thailand, the Philippines, South Korea, Borneo, Fuji, Micronesia, and the Marshall Islands. They've already followed God's command to go ye into all the world. These students are obviously very bright, very talented, and have great potential. When one looks at what they've already accomplished, it's staggering to think what they're going to be able to do as physicians. This evening is a special one as they begin their medical school experience. They are being dedicated to a sacred profession. They will receive a white coat, a symbol of someone that has dedicated his or her life to a healing profession. But here at Loma Linda University, they're not being trained just for a profession, but for ministry. They will acquire knowledge and develop skills that will equip them to continue the teaching and ministry of Jesus Christ. Let us pray as we begin. Our dear Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight with hearts filled with gratitude for these students and for the way you have guided in their lives and brought them to Loma Linda. We pray that you will be with each one of them as they embark on their medical studies. Be with them as they face the challenges of learning the material in all the classes. Be with them as they interact with each other and make new friends. We pray that your Holy Spirit will fill them as they start to see patients and that they will reflect your love, the love of the great physician. We know that you have a plan for the life of each student and pray for your continued guidance in their lives. We ask for your presence tonight at this service as the students are being dedicated to the healing ministry. May their time here at Loma Linda prepare them to continue Jesus' teaching and healing ministry. These things we ask in his name. Amen.
Melinda. She went on to do a residency in preventive medicine, married a classmate from the class of 2006, Thad, who currently practices pediatric physical medicine and rehab. They have 3 children and live here in the area. Dr. Wilson is an assistant professor in the Department of PrevMed here, and she's known for several things. She's known for her tireless energy, her creativity. She's a very good communicator, and she's an excellent teacher, and all of you in the audience, student-wise, will have the opportunity to see that. So we'd like to welcome Dr. Wilson. Thank you.
Good evening. You made it. All right? You're here. Can we get it again? You made it through undergrad. You went through that gauntlet of tests, assignments, nights spent studying when you would have rather been out with your friends, and you're here. So I have a question as I'm getting started. How many of you have had this dream since childhood? Wow, a lot of you. Okay, how many of you decided in the last couple of years that maybe this was a good idea? A good number too. It works either way, that's totally fine. All right, next question. How many of you have felt that God was calling you, directing you, guiding you to this profession? Look at that. You guys are, I'm done. You guys are amazing. Welcome. I'm so pleased that you are here and that I get to talk to you tonight. So I'm going to share a little bit about my journey as we spend this time together this evening. If you look in your bulletin, you'll see the opening lines of our Loma Linda University Physician's Oath. In the acceptance of my sacred calling, I will dedicate my life to the furtherance of Jesus Christ's healing and teaching ministry. You know, I think the first thing that's really important to note here is that before we get to that part about dedicating our lives to the furtherance of Jesus Christ's healing and teaching ministry, and that's all good, that's good. But before we get there, there's this line about, in the acceptance of my sacred calling. Are you confident in the path that led you here, to these seats, to these white coats tonight? Are you confident in that? So let's think about it this way. That word sacred, what if we took it out? It's kind of a big deal. It would just read, in the acceptance of my calling, right? All of a sudden, this whole extra dynamic, this richness of being on a God-ordained journey is gone. It's gone. The intersection of the divine with your own personal journey is lost. Do you believe that God led you here to this profession? I saw a lot of you raise your hands to say yes. Do you believe that God led you to this school? You don't have to raise your hands. I know all the names are up here, so just keep your hands in. It's maybe a no. Looking back on my own life, I can see how God placed specific people in my path to shape my journey and my interests. My grandfather was a man born in the early 1920s. He wanted to pursue a medical career, but he got drafted into World War II at the age of 19. And he met a lovely lady while he was in the service, and by the time he came out the other side and was ready to pursue his GI Bill college training, he had one child, one wife. By the time he finished college, he had 3 children, 1 wife. So at that point, he decided that probably it was better to pay the bills and not try to go to medical school. So he became a teacher. He was never bitter or upset about that, but that was the choice that he made. He put his career interest on hold. He deferred it. But his interest in medicine was well known to all of his friends, to everybody around him, and he would frequently talk to me about medical topics. And that was really important to me because there were few people in my family's circle, in our social circle, that were professionals, and there were no physicians. So there was nobody that I could relate to who was a doctor. But with all these conversations with my grandfather, this seed was planted in my mind. And honestly, when I think back to the earliest days of my childhood, as far back as I can go, I cannot remember a time when I wasn't thinking about becoming a doctor. So some of you can probably relate to that. This is something that's gone back that far for you. My grandfather lived close by, and so when I was 4 or 5 years old, he had this ritual. He'd come over for a daily visit. He'd pick me up. He'd put me on the kitchen table. And my mom would always be in the background like, "What are you doing? She has to learn manners. She's not allowed to sit on the table." Which is totally valid. I'm a mom, so I would say that too now. But, so he'd put me on the table. And then he'd lean down, he'd kind of like lift my chin, he'd look in my eyes and he'd say, "My little girl can do anything she wants to do. She can be anything she wants to be." There were no qualifiers. There were no limitations. He helped me believe that this goal of becoming a physician was attainable. And as I grew, I realized that what he said about my abilities and what I could possibly do became the voice that was in my own head. I just believed it, I internalized it. So I had this growing idea that I wanted to become a physician, and I could probably do it. And then, at the time I was 10 years old, a significant event happened in my life. My family had a personal care home. For those of you that don't know what that is, it's like a little tiny nursing home or an assisted living center, and I think my parents could accommodate like 7 or 8 residents or patients in this personal care home. They were the owners, and they were also the employees. So it was the beginning of summer break. My dad's making some food for the residents in the kitchen, and somebody knocks on the door. He says, "I'll be right back. Just look at, just watch what's going on here. I'll be right back." So he goes to the door, answers the door. He was gone the briefest amount of time. I lay no fault at my father's feet, but in that amount of time, the oil that was on the stove exploded. And I'm looking at this fire and all these old people and thinking, "Oh goodness, I don't know if they can get out. What if it spreads? What will I do?" And I look, there's a fire extinguisher. Nope, no fire extinguisher. I know not to use that on an oil fire. Lid, no lid. No lid that was big enough to cover that big pan. So I didn't know about baking soda. That's my PSA of the night. So I gotta get it outside because I'm afraid these old people can't get out of the house. So I'll just carry it out. So I grabbed it, took it, I made about 5 steps and spilled. So when it spilled, I ended up sustaining burns on my right hand, my right leg, and my left hand on my fingers. 2nd and 3rd degree burns. I was taken to a community hospital, was there for 4 days, then transferred to a university hospital. And while I was at that university hospital, all of a sudden they realized, oh, well, these wounds were never debrided. We should probably do that now. So they did. It was awful. So they scrubbed and sniffed and got rid of all the dead tissue. And I made it through. It hurt, but I made it through. I knew it was necessary. The tissue had to heal. I was okay with it. So then at the end of the day, they were like, "So now that we've done all that, it's time for your tetanus shot update," right? Because I'm 10. I haven't had a tetanus shot since I was a kid in my babyhood. Like, "It's time for your tetanus booster." I was like, "Oh no. No, you're not. Actually, let me educate you. You're not going to be a shot today. I'm done." So it took 5 nurses, 5, I'm proud to report, to hold down that little 10-year-old version of me to give me the shot. They did give it to me, but I put up a really good fight. So I'm just worried, y'all. If you want to take me down, you need more than 5 people. So, through this whole hospitalization, I was in there for about 3 weeks. I just was observing everything that these doctors, the nurses, the PAs were doing. It was so cool. I was I want to help people with their lives. I want to help people with their health problems. And so when I left the hospital at that time, I was convinced, this is what I'm going to do. Like, God, put me here for a purpose. I've been thinking about it all this time since my childhood. I'm definitely going to do this. This is my plan for my life. So, it's good to want to become a doctor, and there's that other part about where you have to get into medical school. So you guys are experts at that, right? You've just done that. So I need to get into medical school, but during the application process, I really felt like I should come to Loma Linda. But that was a problem because I was dating a guy on the East Coast who was in engineering school, and I was pretty sure he was going to propose to me soon. My family was in Pennsylvania. So I just told God, I was like, listen, I'll go to Loma Linda, and I'm only going to do it if I don't get in anywhere else. So bring on the rejections, God, if that's what you want me to do. Sure enough, I'm sure you can guess. For anyone else who was ever rejected, I'm here to support you. I was rejected at every other school. So, thank you for recognizing a good thing when you saw it. It hurt. It hurt a little bit. It hurt my pride. But I was pretty sure God really wanted me to come here for a reason. So I was like, okay, I'm good with it. The amazing thing was, I don't know if any of you guys have had this happen yet, but I was literally on this campus for like less than 2 or 3 weeks. And I was like, I am meant to be here. I'm so glad I'm here. I'm so glad God here. I don't even know why I'm glad that I'm here yet, but it just feels right. It feels like this is where I'm supposed to be. And sometimes we get that God-given confirmation in advance, which is really nice, because then we step forward in faith. But sometimes we have to step forward, and then God gives the confirmation. And that's kind of what happened to me. But man, was I ever glad when I did get the confirmation, when I got here, and it felt right. But it's still a challenge to carry that divine presence, that peace, into the day-to-day activities, isn't it? It's so hard to just day in, day out, through the grind of life, keep God's presence and that sense of the sacred calling with you. And as I looked around the campus, I liked my professors, I made friends. The beach was close by, the mountains were beautiful. It was dry and sunny and not humid, and I just had a good hair life. So I was pretty sure I wanted to stay here for the rest of my life. But I had a small snafu. I wasn't sure that I was going to make it through that first semester. I remember saying dramatically in the first week or two, I think anatomy is trying to kill me off. And yes, it quickly became apparent that anatomy really did have it out for me. On that first exam, okay, just take hope, all of you, please. The first exam, fourth percentile. Okay, fourth, single digits. Didn't hear me wrong, wasn't 40. It was a 4. So, I remember calculating in my mind, so I have how much loan debt right now? How long can I stay and still afford to pay it off if I become something else? You don't come to talk to me. You ever have problems like this? I'm willing to listen. So looking back, I mean really, if I trusted God to lead me to medical school, I should have also trusted that He could help me get through. But the question is still in my mind. Do I have what it takes? Can I make it through? And I'm sure you're asking these same questions too, right? You don't have to nod your heads, don't have to raise your hands, but it could be in the back of a few of your minds, these questions. Like, I'm going to put on a white coat tonight, and then I'm hoping patients will trust me. That would be good. Right? Yeah. So I think God, in His wisdom, saw that I was able to acknowledge that He was working in these big pieces of my life, but maybe the day-to-day mundane was more of a challenge for me, so He needed to help me. So I had a rocky start with that 4th percentile. My next few tests went slightly better, but never so well that I felt completely out of the danger zone for that first year. I had a supportive group of friends. One of them was the one that was mentioned, asked me to marry him a few years later. That was a lot of fun. He's really awesome. And we now have 3 kiddos, so that's really cool too. But in this group of friends, we shared our triumphs, we shared our struggles, we shared the things that were happening in school, we shared things that were happening in our personal lives, and we developed this tradition with the very first set of tests. We met out here on campus, and we gathered in a group, we put our arms around each other's shoulders, we all leaned in, and we had prayer together before our first exam, first morning of our very first exam week. We thought, well, that went really well. We should do that tomorrow. So we did it every single day of every single exam week for the first and second year. The same group of people met, had prayer together. You know, in the beginning, my prayers were like, kind of, God, help me do my best. Help me do really well. That would be awesome. Please help me with that. You know, if you could, that would be awesome. But I realized that, you know, I wanted that because I wanted to be at the top of my class. There's a lot of security at the top of the class. There's a lot of people below you, you know. It feels good when you're at the top, and that's where I was used to being. But, you know, sometimes I think we think this thought in our minds, and it says, you know, if I perform highly, I can empower God with all the things that He can do with me. Think of all the future doors I would be able to open for God if I was always in the top 10%. Even as I write this, it sounds kind of ridiculous, right? God can open the doors that He wants to open. In fact, throughout all history, He has shown Himself to be particularly adept at using the least likely people to accomplish His will. But it quickly became apparent that doing my best did not bring peace. One day I'd perform well, yay, the next day awful. Eventually my prayers changed. I started saying, God, help me to do as well as you need me to do so that I can be wherever you want me to be in the future. So put it back in your hands, right? You know what you have accomplished for me. You know what scores I need. You know what grades I need. You know who I need to connect with. Just give me that. I don't even have to know why, but just give me that and I'll be content with it. And I recognized through this process that He was really the one who could protect me from feeling, you know, in the depths of despair on one hand, or being extremely arrogant on the other one, depending on what my performance was. When it's all His, it's His. It's not mine. So I have to leave it with Him. There was just an amazing freedom when I just gave this power over to God and said, it's yours. It was about Him and not about me. You know, if this is a sacred calling, as we're going to acknowledge tonight in the oath, then we can give the journey to God in good faith that He will guide our way. When I switched from asking God for high grades to just asking to do as well as God needed me to do, there was a real sense of peace. Acknowledging the sacred in the mundane, day-to-day, sleep, eat, steady test, sleep, eat, steady test cycles was easy and difficult at the same time. I'm sure you can guess why it was difficult. Because you have to keep doing it over and over and over and over again, day after day, week after week, year after year, because you can take control again. That's what I wanted to do. So I got a lot of practice in medical school. As you are progressing, as I progressed from your first and second year into your third year of training, and you wear your white coat every day, I think you'll sense the sacred calling even more, and you begin to interact with the patients on a day-to-day basis. And it was at that point that I reflected back on the fact that I had been burned when I was 10, and was able to realize that there was really beauty and blessing in that experience. Besides all the difficult parts of that experience, I also had experienced the compassion and the love of wonderful people who were my caregivers. And it was a great exercise in developing the empathy that I would need as a medical student, as a resident, and as a practicing physician. You I had it firsthand. I didn't have to hear about it from somebody else. And you would think it would be enough to last me a lifetime of doctoring. I mean, honestly, in terms of empathy development, I felt like it was pretty much like the deluxe package for first world countries. But I still struggle sometimes. Even though I had experienced that pain, 6 hours of surgery, had to use a bedpan, I got deconditioned. I had to go to physical and occupational therapy. I had constipation from narcotics. And when I returned home, I experienced PTSD. I had the whole thing with like nightmares. I couldn't be in the kitchen if water was boiling on the stove. Could not handle that for the first couple of weeks, months, years. And I was scared of fire in every form, including small things like candles and matches, which is really kind of funny now, but at the time it was very real. I knew what it was like to go to multiple appointments, to have to sit in waiting rooms, waiting for somebody to come and talk to me and tell me what the next step was. And you would think all of that would be enough to just set me on the straight and narrow of only having kind, loving, compassionate thoughts towards my patients, right? That would, yeah, yes, I should, after all of that. But sometimes I still feel impatient with my patients. If any of you are my patients, it's not you, it's someone else. But sometimes I just feel a little impatient. Sometimes I feel that urge to like get up in my soapbox and say, you know, I find it confusing that you think it's unfair that you have diabetes and high blood pressure, and you had a heart attack, and you had a stroke, and you have liver failure, when you spent your entire life using drugs, drinking alcohol, eating junk food, not exercising. You know, it kind of goes together. Sometimes I want to say that. I don't say that. Don't say that. But sometimes I think it very briefly in the back of my head before I take that and just squeeze that button.
Cool.
And so, what is it that stops me in my tracks in those moments? It's the voice of God in the back of my head saying, remember, grace. You have been given so much grace. There is no particular special reason about me that I should be here with this amazing education and with the privilege to step into a human being's most personal moments of pain, fear, and suffering. And yet, I'm here. And you guys are here. You're going to do this. It's an amazing, amazing privilege. Each of you have your unique stories of how God has provided and led and brought you to this place. Remember those stories. Share that grace that you have received with your patients. Give as it's been given to you. You know, sometimes we judge because we think that health is a sign of virtue. Like, you know, good choices, good health, bad choices, bad health. That might work for groups. That doesn't work for individuals. And that's a really good preventive medicine concept. So you'll hear more about that later. So individuals, the law of what happens to everybody else does not apply to them. And so this idea that we have that good health is a sign of virtue, I think is totally wrong. Good health is currency. Good health is something that you can spend to do the things that you want to do with your life. To make memories with the people you love, to accomplish your goals, to serve the Lord, whatever you want to do. But that's what good health is. It's something that we can use in our day-to-day life to enrich the lives of others. And that means I cannot be jumping to judgment on my patients for their choices. Speaking to myself right now. I should not think that they're of less worth or less value. In fact, in many cases, my patients have made those choices because they believe they are of less worth. They believe they are of less value. They believe they are less deserving. But you know what? They make those choices because it makes sense to them. It's something that fits into the context of their life, and it helps them solve the problem that they have. That's why they made those choices. Thinking back to my situation, picking up that pan of boiling flaming oil and trying to carry it out of the house was not the wisest move. I probably could have made a better decision if I had more knowledge, if I had more resources. But I only was able to use what I had available to me at the time. And the pain and the life lessons that I've learned have helped me to understand my patient's perspectives. In 2006, I believe that I saw my grandmother's dream come true, at least in part. That same man who had gifted me with a love of medicine and with the confidence to do it as a small child stood on the same stage right over here and hooded me, put the medical doctor hood over my head when I graduated from medical school. And despite the struggles in my journey, the 4th percentile in anatomy, I'm still here. And now I have the privilege to be employed by my own medical school. As you grow through these upcoming days, weeks, years, as you go on this journey, I encourage you to look back at how the sacred callings unfolded in your own life. Look at how it's been revealed to you. I also encourage you to look at the present and the future. Look out there and see what it's going to look like in just a few years. And see the areas where God is asking for more space in your life. Right? Where is God asking you to give up control, to yield more to Him, so that He can fully unveil His plan for you? I also challenge you to tap into the moments of grace in your own story, to use those moments to help you remember that your patients need the oil of your love anointing their souls. You need to show that you believe they have value, that they deserve more help, more currency to spend on the things that bring them joy. Congratulations on reaching this point. It's really the end, and it's the beginning. May God bless you immensely, stupendously, fabulously, and all the other leaves as you pursue this goal.
I'm glad we did take you. And the white coat, as you said, it's the service we're having tonight. It's a symbol of trust. The trust the patient will have in you because of what you've been through, education. That's what the white coat represents. As Dr. Wilson said, having someone trust you is one of the most wonderful and unique privileges you can have. So at this time, we will start the coding service. I'm going to introduce the faculty, clinical faculty that work full-time here at Loma Linda, who are going to be the ones that coach you as you come up. And I think you've reviewed the drill. So first, in alphabetical order, is Dr. Bonnie Chilam. Please come up. Dr. Chilam is the mother of classmate Jeffrey. Dr. Shireen Kora. She's assistant professor of radiology. Dr. Don Morris, chief of pediatric surgery. Dr. Morris is the father of your classmate, Michael. Dr. Shaw, associate professor of pediatrics. father of your classmate, Nahala. Dr. Tamara Schenkel, specialist in med peds. And has just taken on the role as Senior Associate Dean for Medical Education. Then Doctors Karen and Kevin Shannon, both the professors in family medicine. Dr. Kevin is also in preventive medicine. They are the mother and father of your classmate, Stephen.
Wagner,
Sungmin Lee.
Nathaniel Ing,
Corbin Donald.
Caesar Lasano,
Evan Bassico.
Derek Narangi,
Jeremy Brown.
Carlos Silva,
Grace Wong.
Brian Sujati,
Christelle Joy Imperio Lagabon.
Jonathan Sundin,
Charles Cogan.
Kyle Logan,
James Button.
Adam Volberg,
Nathaniel John.
Julie Pham,
Austin Hubb.
Aaron Yim,
Benjamin Gowley.
Charlene Wang,
Chase Robin Atiga.
Esther Ramley,
Hannah Litvin.
Joyce McRae,
Joshua Edmondson.
Clarence Sy,
Jason Gia.
Kevin Williams,
Marcelo Curry.
Randy Sanchez,
Matthew Chang.
Richard Ulanka,
Adriana Alvarez.
Kayla Romero,
Austin Johnson.
Trudy Wong,
Ben Herzl.
Christina Mansour,
Peter Holman.
Peter John Wong,
Andrew Kraus,
Mihaly Shah,
Armando Camacho Santos,
Mike,
Darnell Gordon,
Jonathan Salai,
Victor Kale,
Charlene Tiffany Wong,
Mina Ascar,
Christopher Wong,
Raul Hernandez,
Namilni Pang,
Williamson Lay,
Sejal Madhani,
Alexis Elsman,
Leanna Hogg,
Let's see. 2 minutes. Just that one perfect shot. The wholeness of my patient will be my first consideration. Acting as a good steward of the resources of society and of the talents granted me, I'll endeavor to reflect God's mercy and compassion by caring for the lonely, the poor, the suffering, and those who are dying.
Acting as a good steward of the resources of society and of the talents granted me, I will endeavor to reflect God's mercy and compassion by caring for the lonely, the poor, the suffering, and those who are dying.
I will maintain the utmost respect for human life. I will not use my medical knowledge contrary to the laws of humanity. I'll respect the rights and decisions of my patients.
I will maintain the utmost respect for human life. I will not use my medical knowledge contrary to the laws of humanity. I will respect the rights and decisions of my patients.
I will hold in confidence all secrets committed to my keeping in the practice of my calling.
I will hold in confidence all secrets committed to my keeping in the practice of my calling.
I will lead my life and practice my art with purity and honor, abstaining from immorality myself. I will not lead others in the moral wrongdoing.
I will lead my life and practice my art with purity and honor, abstaining from immorality myself. I will not lead others into moral wrongdoing.
May God's kingdom, His healing power and glory be experienced by those whom I serve, and may they be made known in my life in proportion as I am faithful to this oath.
May God's kingdom, His healing power and glory be experienced by those whom I serve, and may they be made known in my life in proportion as I am faithful to this oath.
Consecration prayer by Vice Dean Dr. Ken Thomas.
Let's bow our heads for prayer. Dear Jesus, thank you for excellence, faithfulness, self-control. We commit to these today. If we succeed, we will give thanks to you. If we fail, we will seek your grace. May we ultimately choose you to help guide us along the way. We pray for each student here and for the patients that they will see and ask for your blessing. Amen.
Thank you, and good night.